Hi, this is Mandatory Loss back with another video. This time let's talk about RimWorld. This is a $30 game on Steam Early Access, and it is a colony simulator where you're given limited resources in order to survive with a group of people with the eventual goal of, I believe, escaping the planet. It's been compared a lot to games like Dwarf Fortress and kind of has that element of freedom and variability where you can't really predict what's going to happen next or how things are going to interact with each other. So let's jump into it and see if it lives up to those promises. So the first screen that you are presented with is this screen about choosing a scenario. So there's 3 scenarios built into the game, the default one being Crash Landed, where you are given 3 survivors to start with. Your faction is going to be a colony, and these are the resources that you're going to start with. So you're going to start with 800 silver, 30 meals, 24 medicine, and some other stuff to help you survive. And the map's also going to be scattered with some additional raw resources to help you get through this. So the other choices are the Rich Explorer, this is a single person. You start with 1 people. But you start with a little bit more research available to you. So you start with the ability to make gun turrets, which is probably useful if it's just 1 person defending a colony by himself. And you start with a lot more in the way of resources here. And more people do join your colony as you progress, but it does take a little while. It does take some time for people to kind of randomly join you through events. And the last one's the Lost Tribe, where you start with 5 people. So you have a little bit more manpower available to you. But your technology situation and your resources are a lot more reduced than the others available. One thing that's neat here is there is a scenario editor. So you can actually go in and load in scenarios that other people have written or make your own and kind of set how you want to begin the game, which is kind of neat. So you can start as either a tribe or a colony. And I'm not really sure what the difference between those is. You can set the number of starting people. The maximum you can do is 10, I believe. So I don't know if that's the maximum number of people you can ever have in your group. It might be. The 10 seems like a lot of people to be managing, given how this game works. The arrival method, standing or being dropped in pods at the beginning, which I'm not sure what that affects either. Forced health conditions. So you can just start up your people with malaria if you want to. Just make it super severe, I guess. and then see if they can survive. So I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different customizations you could do here. You could probably get really creative, and it just adds another layer of modability to what's available, which is pretty cool. But for this demonstration, let's just go into Crash Landed and see how that goes. So after selecting scenario, we're presented with a screen where we're choosing an AI storyteller. So the AI storyteller, like it says here, will create events like pirate raids, resource drops, or animal attacks. So they determine the frequency of the events and the severity of the events that are going to be happening to you. Cassandra Classic here will, like it says here, create story events on a steadily increasing curve of challenge and tension. So as you progress through the game, the raids will include more bad guys, the animal attacks will get more severe and more animals coming at you and things like that. There's also another level of difficulty here. So you can set, for any of these AIs that you select, you can select free play, which limits the number of threats that they send at you, kind of lets you build things up and play without having to worry too much about the events that happen. And then things get more extreme from there as you go down the list here, with the events getting worse and worse until you get hit extreme, where the enemies are strong, prices are poor, food is scarce, and colonists are grumpy. So that seems like a difficult way to play this game. It does actually recommend that you play on the difficulty level of challenge. This is the way RimWorld was meant to be played. So that seems okay. We can select that. When I played this previously, I played with Base Builder and still got killed about 8 hours into my game. There was just a threat that I couldn't deal with when I was just trying to learn how the game worked. And because of how I had planned my base, I wasn't able to deal with it, and my people were wiped out. So that was fun. The other AI storytellers are Phoebe Chillax, who gives you a lot of time between disasters and a chance to build your colony up a little bit more. But if she's set to a high challenge scale, she'll hit as hard as anyone. And then there's Randy Random, who just is more of a random event giver. So it seems like things will be all over the place with him. There is a permadeath mode here as well. So you get one save file. You can only save when quitting the game. So this is also says this is the way RimWorld was meant to be played. So you can't cheat by saving your game and reloading your game if bad things happen. We'll not turn that on for right now. We'll leave that off for the time being. It seems a bit too stressful. So then we'll go into the Create World section where you can select a seed. This is just a text string here and the size of the map that you want to play on. We'll just leave that at default. There's some different options here to select different size of maps. You can randomize the seed, so you can, if you have friends who are playing this game, you can type in the same word here and create the same world to play in, or if you find one that you like, you can come back to it. But that's all there really is to that. So let's go ahead and generate the world. And the world's generating. And here we go. There we are. So there we have our world that we just created. It is called New Musida, and you see some stats over on the left side of the screen there. Here we can select an area to start from, and you can see that it will tell you information about that square. This little square is going to be where our entire colony takes place. So here we see that this is a desert. It has stone types of marble, sandstone, and limestone, and it gives you a growing period. So if I go up to this wintry area, there's no growing period, which means you can't grow crops if you start up there, which seems like that would be difficult. So let's go down here where we have a year-round growing period and some granite, slate, and sandstone to build with in this temperate forest atmosphere. So it's going to be raining a lot probably. So let's go from here and see what we got. So these are randomly generated characters. They're randomly generated every time you start a new scenario. In this case, we have Rubio, who is a rancher, Carrot, who is a miner, and Juliet, who is a paramedic. We can see that each person has a backstory associated with them. So they have a childhood backstory and an adulthood backstory. The childhood backstory for this guy is he was a child star. So he's well known through his homeworld as a child actor on films and TV shows. So that gives him a social of +3, an artistic of +3, research of -2, and it actually disables his ability to do plant cutting, hauling, and cleaning, which is terrible. His adulthood, he was a ranch owner, so he went from a child star to a ranch owner. And he owned and operated a successful ranch where he raised animals for meat and wool. He refused to do any dumb labor. He could pay someone else to do for him. So in this case, he has animals +8, so his animal handling is +8, even though it says over here he only has a 2. So he must have started pretty poor with animals. Cooking's -4 and mining's -4, and this disables plant cutting, hauling, and cleaning, which are the same thing. So it's convenient that those are together here because it could easily have disabled other stuff that we could need him to be doing. This guy is a mess. He's incapable of dumb labor, so he's not going to be helping me do anything. He's psychically hypersensitive, so he's extremely sensitive to psychic phenomena. So there are instances in this game where people will set off like sensors will go off, or different sorts of probes, and it causes different reactions in people. So this guy's extra sensitive to those. It changes mood and things like that. He's sanguine, so his permanent mood effect is +12, so that's good. He's a happy dude. He is nervous. His mental break threshold is +8%, so he'll crack a little bit easier than other people, but he's happy most of the time, so it probably will balance out. And here we can see his current health conditions. He comes with asthma, untreated asthma in both of his lungs. So that's a fun thing to have starting out. And his skills are just terrible. His socials at 6, his animals at 2, artistic at 8. You can see with the flames here, with the 1 flame, it means that he's interested in learning it. It gives him a times 100% to learning to experience to level this skill up. If there's 2 flames, it gives him a burning passion, and he learns at 150% the rate that other people would learn at, or he would normally learn at. So he's no good. We can look at some information about him here. There's all kinds of stats about every object in this game. So here we have a move speed. His mental break threshold is a little bit higher percent than the higher the percent, the worse in this case. But because of his other traits, that's up to 13%. And there's some other interesting things in here, like leather amount. So if we were to butcher this guy, we'd actually get 25 leather from him. So he might have a use yet. And meat amount 90. So if we want to eat him, he'll generate 90 meat. So just in case you wanted that information, it's available there. Let's look at our other guys. So we have Carrot, who is a miner. Let's see here. She was, this is a male. He was a story writer in his childhood. It gives him +4 artistic, +3 research. And he was a deep space miner in his adulthood. He's in melee +2, construction +3, and mining +7. So he is a miner and a researcher. He's got all kinds of stuff going on for him. He's good. His traits are he's too smart. So he's too smart for his own good. He learns faster than everyone. So that's pretty cool. It raises his mental break threshold, so he'll break mentally faster, but he seems pretty cool. And he's a careful shooter, so it gives him a bonus to shooting. But his aiming time goes up, but he hits more often. He also has asthma. Everybody has asthma. These are all randomly generated, so it's interesting that we've got 2 people that have asthma here. We have, so he's good at shooting. He's interested in cooking, even though he's terrible at it. And his mining skill looks like the best thing that he has going on. Last we have Juliet Downs, and she is a coma child in childhood. So she was in a coma as a child, which gives her a +5 social for some reason. You would think if she was in a coma, her social would be lowered, but I guess people take pity on her. That's why her social is +5, so she gets automatic pity points. Construction is -2 and mining is -2. In adulthood, she was a paramedic, so her shooting is -5, which takes that to 0, and medicine is +6. So she's kind of my doctor, it seems like, with a 10 medicine. And her traits, optimist, so she's permanently +6 on her mood, and she's jealous. Uh-oh. So if she has a less impressive bedroom than anyone else, her mood goes down. She starts with crypto sleep sickness, which is one of the things that was part of the scenario. So there's a % chance, because of the scenario that I picked, that someone will start with crypto sleep sickness. I think this will go away after a while. Let's go into it, show some of the game here and how things work, and then I'll load up my other game and show kind of what I've built so far in it. I've played about 8.5 hours of this game, and kind of hit a wall in my previous instance where I had a problem where people kept dying and was unable to proceed because things just escalated to a point where I couldn't handle it any longer. So let's pause for a second and take a look at the world. This is the world that we started in. You can see it's the one that I picked out of that big map. So we start with some guns, some steel slag chunks, some survival meals. So what happens is these all have little X's on them right now. And what we need to do is click on this to allow our colonists to interact with them, or we can just push F. That allows, or P in that case, our colonists to do stuff with them. Now they don't have anything to actually do with them because no zones are set up. So what we have to do is create a zone. So here we'll set a stockpile zone. let's do this. And then we'll put a stockpile zone like, let's put it over here. A little 8x8 stockpile zone. And now, my people who are haulers will start hauling stuff over to that zone. And as they do that, it'll add it up over in my top left corner here and show me that I actually have these resources now. So over here in the bottom right, it'll kind of give me some tips on what needs to be done. The hunter lacks a weapon. So if you click on it, it'll kind of take you to it. So it says, this guy's my hunter. He's good at shooting stuff. He needs a weapon. Let's go ahead and equip the survival rifle on him. I need colonist beds. They're going to need somewhere to sleep tonight. Colonist needs treatment already. He's already sick. So that's his. It must be his asthma that needs treatment. I don't know. We'll have to deal with that later. And I need to build a room. So I need wood. There's some wood up here, it looks like. We'll grab that for our stockpile zone. And some wood down here. So we'll grab that as well, because we'll be needing that. And while they're hauling stuff around, let's look at some of the other menus here. This work menu allows you to determine what people are doing. So there's different check marks here to say what they're actually capable of and what they're actually do. So if it's blacked out, it means they're not going to do it at all. And this is the priority as well. So they'll start, if there's a fire, they're going to firefight first. If they're sick, they're going to go to bed. If there's somebody else is sick and they're capable of being a doctor, then they're going to go treat that person, etc. So here's where you can say, if I don't really want somebody working on art ever, I can just uncheck it. That person will never work on art. The other thing you can do here is you can click on this little button here for manual priorities and say, this is my only person who can do research. So if there's research available to be done, then I want this to go down to 1, say. And then if there's research to be available, they'll do that before doing any of these other things. Or more likely, there's always research available, so maybe if there's something to be hauled, I want them to haul before they do anything else. So I can lower that priority there. And you can set people up and really customize what people are doing. Because in this game, you're not really telling people exactly what to do. You're just giving them suggestions. You're putting orders out to say, I want these things done, and then they're going to decide what they do and when they do it. And you can kind of direct them a little bit by prioritizing things. So I could take, if I select a guy and say I want to well, let's just look at this. So I would say I wanted to haul this granite chunk. I could prioritize, well, he can't because he's not a hauler. But if I did that with carrot here, I could, well, nope, I only have one person who can haul things. Oh, that's terrible. So, oh, no empty space configured to store it. Never mind. It's just, in any case, you can just right click on things and prioritize, and it will, if they're capable of doing it, they'll do that action before anything else. Another thing that you can do, let's build a room first. So we'll go into structure here. You can build rooms and things out of various materials that you find. So let's just build a little room for our people to stay in for the night. Just build a little house. A little lopsided. With a wooden door. And we'll put a wooden floor. Floors are in their own section down there. Put a wooden floor in our wooden house. And you can cut down trees if you need more wood. So you can just chop down trees here. Set some trees to be chopped down if we need more wood to handle that. One of the things is you'll want these materials that I have just sitting outside in a room eventually, because they will deteriorate being outside as weather conditions like rain and whatnot happen. Okay, here's an event that just happened. A chunk of spacecraft has fallen from space and landed nearby. So these will happen occasionally. And in this case, you kind of have to... Okay, if you click on it, it'll take you to it. So these pieces of spacecraft landed nearby. So I can have somebody come down and deconstruct these and get resources. So events like this will happen occasionally to kind of give you additional resources, usually like steel and different components that let you do more of the more advanced tech tree stuff. So we're moving along here. Let's get that room built. Rubio's over there building the room. So there's all kinds of different stuff you can do here with setting up electricity, setting up different things like a grave site. You can set up like a graveyard, marriage spot, party spot. There's all kinds of different things, and as you unlock different areas of research, more options will become available to you. So there's a lot of different areas of research going up into building a spaceship to send some of your colonists back into outer space and essentially rescue them. I don't know what happens when you do that because I haven't made it that far yet. These are the things that I've researched so far that I start with in this scenario. And that's that. So my room's getting built. Chopping down some trees over here. I should have a pet as well. So I have Carl, who's a terrier. He's a little dog over here. So I started with a pet in this scenario. I can set somebody to train him whenever they get some free time, some obedience training, and eventually he'll be able to be trained to attack somebody on command. And so we can get a little dog attacking people that try to hurt me. Is this a bear? That's a grizzly bear. That seems dangerous to just be walking next to my people. Hopefully he doesn't attack. That would be bad. So our room is built. This is putting a roof on it, so we're now putting the roof on the building. And now that that's done, we need beds. So let's give our people some beds. They're all going to be sleeping in the same room tonight because there's just not enough time to build rooms for everybody. So let's do wood beds because we have plenty of wood around us. I kind of made that bed upside down, so I'll make that bed upside down too. We might need to chop down more trees to get enough wood to do all of this. She's down there eating. So down the bottom left, it'll kind of show you what they're doing currently. So right now she's cutting down this tree. You can also select people from up here, or select multiple people at once. Other menus, when you click on a character, are... Oh, he fell asleep immediately because he's technically injured. So his health is he's like in an injured status because of his asthma, so he just fell asleep immediately even though he's not assigned to that bed because he's considered hurt. He started off that way. In any case, when you click on a person, you can see their social status, how they feel about other people around them. He has a bond with the pet that we have, conversations that they're having with the other characters. You can see what gear they have, what clothes they're wearing. This is the character sheet that we saw before. What needs they have, this is their mood. As this drops, they risk mental breaks, which are bad. When those happen, they kind of go berserk and just start attacking people, and that's really bad news, so you kind of want to keep people happy. And all sorts of things will affect their mood. So just eating without a table and having disturbed sleep because somebody came and tried to treat him while he was asleep already gave him a negative mood. So that's not good. There's all kinds of things, and there's all kinds of little things that interact with other things. So we'll just go over the big stuff, I guess. There's the ability to restrict movement. So if I wanted this guy to be restricted to this room, the home area automatically grows depending on what you've built. So that's my home area so far because I've set a zone down there and I built this room up here. But if I wanted to specify an area, I could take this area 1 and rename that to room. And then I could set the area for the room that I just did. Set it to this. And now when I go into restrict, I can say, okay, carrot, you have to stay in this room. You're not allowed to leave it. And he'll never leave that room. So there is reason to do this sort of thing. If there's a threat outside or something like that, but you don't want to manually control everybody, then just setting up boundaries can allow you to to keep them safe inside for as long as they need to be. Okay, so nothing's getting done because this guy's asleep, and I think he's the only one who can do anything. So yeah, he's got like everything. The mine, construct. He's the only one who can build things. Okay, he's up now. He's up making beds. Good. So when you select a bed, you can set it for prisoners, so you can take prisoners that have tried to attack your camp. You can set it for medical use if you set up a hospital. Or you can just assign... Well, he already claimed that one. He just claimed it on his own. Well, he claimed that on his own. Apparently they'll claim them on their own if they wish to. So I'll just assign that to Juliet then. They'll all sleep in the same room tonight, and that's going to make them all unhappy as well. Because they're sleeping in a dark room all together. None of them are going to like that. Alright, another menu. Assign allows you to specify what kind of outfits they'll wear. So you can specify different sets of outfits, so a worker, soldier, or nudist. There's some characters who have the nudist trait, so they're only happy if they're not wearing clothes. Sometimes they need to wear clothes if it gets cold outside, and that just makes them unhappy, and they just have to deal with it. So you can manage outfits and set up new outfits. There's all kinds of customization you can do within an individual character in this to set up different outfits for different situations, edit them here, all kinds of stuff. So this is my animal that I have. He's just going to be chilling for right now, but you can restrict him to areas as well, and areas specific to animals. Factions. So there are 5 other factions in this area. 3 of them are already hostile to me, so they will try to kill me. And 2 are not hostile to me. So they might send people over to hang out, or they might send people to trade with me, like caravans and things like that. So that's good. This is the world map that we saw earlier. And there's not much... I haven't seen much need for this to really exist, because I'm pretty much going to stay in this one little area. I'm pretty sure there's no way to get out of my little square here. So I think it's just a reference point to show you how you exist in this one little tiny area of the world. The history is just some graphs about what's going on in over time with different variables. Statistics, how long you've played. Here you can see colonists launched into space, so that kind of gives you an indication of where things are going to go from our meager beginnings of a single wooden room. And research we saw earlier. So that's about that's the rundown of what is available here. Nobody's really doing anything because I haven't really assigned anything for people to do. But yeah, you can mine stuff, you can cut down trees, you can interact with all sorts of different things, and you're kind of just trying to build up a little colony in order to survive and deal with any threats that come your way. And threats do come, and depending on which AI you've picked, it can be kind of difficult. So you kind of want to keep things rolling along and keep people busy. So with that said, let me load up my other save, and we'll take a look at something that I've already built up, so you can kind of see where I got after several hours of playing this game. Because it does take a while to get everything built up and get everything kind of rolling along. So here we have my current area. This is a caravan group that's in my colony right now, so I can trade with these people. I actually bought a flat screen TV from them, which I'm going to be putting... Okay, so we have an event already. A housemate named Lilia Snyder. She's being chased by tribespeople from Trago Cheetah. So this is good. So she's going to join us if I offer her safety, but then these people are going to attack me. So I can offer her safety. She automatically joins my group. So she'll be coming down to my group, but I'm going to get attacked here shortly. So that'll come in a second. We'll just wait for that to happen. Until that, yeah, I bought a flat screen TV from those guys. I'm going to be putting it up there. That's the blueprint for it. Nobody's moved it there yet. This is my hospital. So I have 2 hospital beds, flat screen TV for the people who are sick in the hospital, research bench for my research. There's my attack. Let's pause for a second. Got a table for eating food. These are bedrooms, so you can see when you actually create a room, it'll give you kind of stats on the room. And these are important because the nicer the room is and the more clean it is, the happier people will be staying in it. And the happier people are, the less likely they'll do a mental break and cause all kinds of problems. So each of my rooms comes with a heater and a standing lamp. So, because it's winter time, so they need to stay warm and they like to be in the light. So I just kind of have one of those in each room, and that's it at this point. This guy has the stove. People cook in his room. Just because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. This is my prison. I have this guy as a prisoner right now. I just shot him up pretty good, and I think he has an infection in his leg, but other than that, he's suffering. He's got hypothermia too, because I kind of left him out there in the cold for a while before I picked him up and dragged him into the prison. So yeah, I got different stockpile zones. This is my refrigerator room, where I have coolers pumping in cold air to keep the food inside frozen so it won't spoil. So if you didn't have this set up and it was summertime, things would spoil over the matter of various amounts of time. So sometimes a day or two, sometimes longer, depending on what it is. I have a graveyard from all the enemies that I've killed that have tried to attack me, and a couple people that haven't been buried yet. They're just hanging out there waiting to get buried. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. This is the growing area, so you can plant crops and grow, but it's winter time, so there's no growing to happen right now. And this is kind of like junk area where I just throw miscellaneous things. So let's just do a battle here, and we'll call it quits after that. Wow, that's a lot of people. Holy cow. So this isn't gonna go well. That is a ton of bad guys for my limited people. So my army is essentially these people right here. I think Harriet can fight. She just has a knife though. Her shooting is terrible, so I don't have anything else on her. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna draft these guys. So they're in my military now. And now I can control them myself. So I can right click and move these people up to kind of guard the north side of my village. And this is a big group. So I have 4 people to take on an army of like 9 people here. So this is gonna be fun. Let's see, Carl, he's my sniper. He's got a sniper rifle, so he's gonna go over here. Dimitri, okay. Spread out a little bit just in case they have grenades and whatnot. So they look like they have kind of bad weapons. They have short bows. This guy's a club. So they have like bows and clubs. So they're not like heavily armed. But my guys aren't very good shots either. So there's a chance that this could go really poorly. So Emmy's getting beat up. Okay, we got that guy down. So we're hiding behind our sandbags. I have some sandbags set up for general defense. So this is one of the things that bothers me about this game. You might have just seen that. Emmy's sitting here. Dimitri's here. He's dead now. Because Emmy's behind Dimitri. The bad guy ran up on this side of Dimitri. What does Emmy do? She sees a bad guy here, so she tries to shoot him. But Dimitri's in the way. So Dimitri gets hit, and Dimitri dies. So, and it just seems kind of... It's one of my biggest complaints about this game so far, is you can't just... You really have to micromanage the AI when it comes to fighting, because garbage like this will happen. She's not smart enough to just step to the side to shoot this guy or anything like that. She's just going to shoot straight at him in a straight line and kill Dimitri. So now Dimitri's just dead. He's donezo. And he's my main hunter guy. So I'm kind of screwed at this point with Dimitri down. So we'll just keep playing anyways. So Emmy just murdered one of our own with her shotgun. Good job, Emmy. Okay. So this guy's stunned. Warg was helping me out for some reason. So this guy's... I don't know what this guy's doing. He's just moving around. He's not feeling very threatened. So Emmy's just taking hits because she's got a shotgun. Bit has been shot to death. So Bit's dead now from these guys. So, okay, Emmy's down. Oh, Carl's not looking like... Okay, so Carl's down too. So all my people are dead now. All because I took this lady on my team. She's over here stone cutting. She's over here, she doesn't care. She just went straight to work, and she's yeah, we're just dead at this point. So that's a little bit of what the combat looks like. And I've never seen a group that big, actually. That's the biggest group that's ever come at me. So I'm a little bit surprised that it was that ridiculous. And they just wiped my people out. Usually it's like 3 or 4 bad guys at most. So that was kind of insane. And also it didn't help that friendly fire killed one of my own people right off the bat in that fight. So Dimitri's one of my best shooters, and he just got shot in the back by our own person. So that's RimWorld. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's interesting. There's some minor I have some minor quibbles with it, with some of the little stuff like the combat and maybe somewhat how the difficulty works. But I did pick the scenario, the AI, where difficulty is supposed to scale up as you go on, so it makes sense that things would get harder and harder. And I think you're just meant to restart and do better next time. So yeah, with that, we're gonna end this video, and I'll talk to you guys the next time.